Welcome to this special bonus episode of the Passive House podcast. I'm Zach Semke, Director of Passive House Accelerator, and we're pleased to be sharing a series of bonus episodes recorded at the International Passive House Conference 2023 in Wiesbaden, Germany. These interviews were made possible by support from Icon Windows and Doors, Inotech Windows and Doors, Intelligent Membranes, Minitaire, and Proclima. Please enjoy this bonus episode.
Welcome to the Passive House podcast. We now have with us Sally Godber, who is with WARM, Low Energy Building Practice, which is based in
the UK. We're based in the southwest, down in Devon, but we cover the whole of the UK, and so we've got a lot of projects covering all of that. Yeah,
that's great. Well, can you tell us a little bit more about what you specifically do with WARM? I know you have been very involved with the Passive House Trust. Yes.
Yeah, so there are actually, we now have two businesses, where they historically have both been within WARM, which is predominantly like a kind of energy consultancy business. So we've got a team of engineers and architects that and we do pretty much just Passive House, both the consultancy side and also the certification of passive houses. And we also like to do lots of kind of dabbling in post-occupancy and air testing and all of those kind of bits around the edge. So that's like the consultancy part of it. And then the other business, which is a bit I think in terms of is so important in terms of our scaling up, is Coaction, which is a not-for-profit organisation, which is, and the aim of it is delivering training. And what's really exciting about this is that we have a group of trainers which are very much not just from WARM. They're kind of across the industry. They're all practitioners, so they all come from having the scars of really doing it themselves. And the intention is that together we are intending to kind of make a massive dent in terms of training up the UK kind of industry, construction industry, and really using it as an opportunity to disseminate, kind of make sure that there is the skilling up happens a lot quicker. That's what we're aiming at.
So do you have more of an emphasis on training the trades versus the architects and engineering end of the construction industry, or do you do both?
So we do both. But what we have, and historically we've kind of run courses on everything under the sun. And this is where Coaction as well, I should have said, the link with the Passive House Trust is whilst WARM as a consultancy, we do loads of stuff with the Passive House Trust and we are on their technical board. In terms of the Coaction has got a very strong link to the trust. And the kind of training and using that as a kind of forum is really where our links are strongest. Now, what we are aiming at is really the base level. And so whilst historically we've developed all these courses, we've really scaled that back and we've said, what can we do that we can roll out and get the base information to everyone else? Because once they've got that, then there is support from the Passive House Trust, and there's also the International Passive House Association, and all of the courses that the Passive House Institute run as well that are available to them. But it's that base understanding, and because we've got a massive kind of increase in the interest in building passive house, which is just phenomenal, the skill base isn't there, and we need that kind of first push for that. And so that's really what we're interested in, and trying to get people that both they both have got the training, but it has gone, they've kind of been taught how to question things and not to just say whatever the answer is that's thrown back at them, just to take it, we really want them to be inquisitive. And so that's kind of the aim of it, is to provide the training en masse, but also deliver it in a way that is kind of compelling and ends up with people that can really think for themselves.
And how is it that this interest in Passive House has grown so much? Because, that's still quite a challenge for us in North America to try and even get the interest going.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had, we started our business at the beginning of 2009, and there have been points in my career where I've really seriously questioned what we're doing, because it just feels like kind of really pushing against the tide. I don't know. That's not really my area at all. I'm a geek. I like numbers, and all the kind of political stuff that's happened that's enabled that change I'm just incredibly grateful for. But at the same time, it's then the onus on getting it right. It becomes so critical that we can actually deliver it, and we've kind of promised a lot. And we've said, yes, of course we can do all the schools in Scotland or whatever it is, and actually then making sure that the communication, so that the lessons learned from one project are really disseminated well to others, so that we get the best out of it and we don't end up with kind of failures. That's what it's that kind of being careful what you wish for. And I desperately want this to be a success, but at the same time, there's a bit of it where you're like, why are we there? Do we really?
Well, I understand that some of what you're doing is providing information to people that everybody can access. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there's kind of, we're developing, as I said, we're really interested in up to the Passive House tradesperson and up to the Passive House designer qualification. So we have...
giving people a taste of Passive House?
Exactly, that's it. So there's kind of, at the moment, there's a piece of work that we did with the Passive House Trust, which we're very grateful for the CITB in the UK for funding, which is a self-study little course that's available on their website. You can do it at any time whatsoever, and that's currently beta, and getting feedback on that would be amazing. So any comments that people have, and it should be, it's kind of fairly universal. So it isn't, whilst it's very much, most of it is completely applicable to everyone. So no matter what country, it's not country specific is what I'm trying to say, I guess. So hopefully it'd be really lovely to have any feedback that people have on that, and kind of to try and make it as useful as possible. It is fairly well buried in the Passive House Trust's website, but that is going to change. So please do search down through for the self-study training. So there's that going on. And then we have a kind of a short introduction to Passive House course, which is called Bite Size. And the really exciting news for us is that this is currently, we're redeveloping this with the intention that it will be a course which is then rolled out to all undergraduates of architecture in the UK, which is just phenomenal, and the first time this has happened. But again, it's a pretty scary thing we've got to deliver that for the start of September, which is quite scary.
It's coming up, isn't it?
Exactly. But we need those kind of challenges now. We need that kind of stuff. And I think what's really exciting about these things is that, again, that's a potential resource for other countries or other kind of sectors to also look at. So not sectors exactly, but for if you're training other, kind of designers that aren't architects as well, then this will be really, really solid ground, and hopefully a great thing for them to build on. So we're doing the first year of it, which is a self-study course this year, and then we're going to have several levels on from that. Our ambition, this isn't necessarily something that the architects have signed up for, but our ambition is that all of the students that are doing their architectural masters will do the Passive House Designer course. So we're really excited about this kind of pushing through, getting the up-and-coming graduates coming out of the universities with this level of skill. But that isn't enough, because they often are in positions where they're not necessarily able to influence, and so we need them to have that skill. But in terms of making change today, we also need to be in on the industry side of things. And it's, so it's just, there's a lot to do, I guess.
Well, and that's so important to get people while they're still in school, because you know,
I know, they're
a lot of
captive.
times
They can't run away.
Right. Well, and they don't get exposed to these ideas necessarily, to, you know, passive house construction approaches. So
yeah, I think also it's really nice to be, I think one of the things that I really love about what we do and is it's a real solution. And there is so much that is utterly depressing about the world that we live in. And especially when I talk to my kids and my kids' friends and stuff like that about how they feel about the future, it's really, I mean, I feel it's so depressing. So having something where it feels that you know that you're making a difference, and every time you go and do post-occupancy monitoring, or you go and talk to the occupants of the buildings that you've been involved with designing very geeky little things for, that feedback from them and this sense of making a real change. And we had a project which a colleague is talking about actually this afternoon, is a healthcare centre in the UK, and it's not very big, I think, and it's one that we certified, and we were speaking to the client about it, and he is so passionate because of the energy results that have come through, and the experiences of the occupants in terms of the quality of the spaces that they're creating. And that is just so heartening. It really is. In, you know, the world where you kind of, it feels like it's a constant onslaught of
negative news.
Just getting worse and worse and worse, to kind of feel like you've actually, all of that kind of weird and wonderful little modelling that you've done, and kind of all the questions that you've asked and been a pain about this and said, no, you must tell me, you definitely need the window data. All of those things have kind of added up to something that is, that really touches people. And that's a pretty phenomenal thing.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. We're going to have to get you on the regular podcast so we can have a longer discussion. But I really appreciate your time today.
Oh, it's lovely. Thank you, Mary.